YouTube, how you guys doing here today? All right, let's get to these Q&As here. Supposed to do it yesterday, but when I got home from the gym, it was over. So let's go ahead and do this real quick without further ado. All right, so starting at the top, and I'm going to read the question and I'm going to answer it as thorough as I can. Okay, so our friend Palabra again. All right, let me see. I am now learning Hebrew. What's your opinion on that language? Was it hard for you to learn it? I would love to know. 2. Can you send me your FLR course to Switzerland? Can you send me your FLR course to Switzerland? I'm actually really interested in buying one. How much would the shipping cost? Does it contain longer or shorter dialogues? When I purchase a course, do I automatically get the audio so that I can listen and read at the same time? I want to buy the Hebrew FLR course. Thanks as always. Palabra. Hello again to you, my friend. All right. So your first question about Hebrew. Hebrew remind me, when I started learning it, it reminded me of Arabic because it's in the same family. And the writing is pretty similar. They have the positions of the letters and stuff. You have to learn the initial position, medial, final position. It felt like learning Arabic. Wasn't really difficult. I wouldn't say difficult. For some reason, I found Arabic to be more difficult than Hebrew. For some reason, although they're in the same family, Arabic just seemed more difficult to me. Number 2, okay, so about the FLR course, all of my courses now, they have been for the last 2 years, they are digital. I don't ship out courses anymore. I used to do that before, but it was a lot of work, a whole lot of work, and it was so time consuming. So right now they're digital. You get them through digital download, and yeah, they are the same price, $40. All right. Thanks for your questions, sir. And you know what to do. If you have any more questions, post them in this video here for next week. All right. Oh. Next question. Ramen Shop says, how do you use FLR on Skype during your lessons? Do you tell the native speaker to ask you the FLR questions until you can answer them correctly before moving on to the next? Okay, so yeah, that's basically what I do. Is, you know, I try to use the course with the native as I would with myself. It's just better to use it with the native speaker because that person is live. They pronouncing the words as a native speaker, of course, and you got somebody firing back at you with all that stuff. You might want to check out, and I don't know if you've seen this, you might want to check out my FLR Samurai course. That course, which has been going on for almost a month now, I actually go into full details of what I do on Skype and how I normally use the native speakers. Basically everything I do when I learn my languages. You might want to check that out. The class is closed right now, but it will be opening again sometime in July. So stay tuned for that, man. That will be great to look into. Robert White. Hi Moses, have you ever used the Teach Yourself series? If so, I was wondering if there's a big difference between the 2003 to 4 Teach Yourself books and the complete Teach Yourself series, which was published later, as the former is a lot cheaper and I would like to save money if there was not a lot of difference between them. Thanks. Hello Robert. So you know what, not really, and as you can see, I'll show you here. Oh, okay, this, where is it? I just had it. I'll show you something. I just had that book. What did I do with it? Teach Yourself Chinese Mandarin. I just had it. It was just over here. I gotta clean up my little space here. That is so funny. I just had that book. Oh, here it is, right here. Okay, so as you can see, So as you can see, I have both versions. Okay, this is what you're talking about. No difference really. Like as far as the content, they didn't really do much with it. So I don't know if they lowered the price on the older version or what, but it's pretty much the same. I went through it. I think I even made a review on this complete version. Yeah, they're pretty much the same. I do use Teach Yourself. I like to use it for grammar references, for grammar reference, for the language I'm learning. And yeah, I've been using it for a long time. Initially, when I first started making videos, I think Teach Yourself, yeah, Teach Yourself was the course that I made videos on the most, more than any other course. So yeah, I've been big on Teach Yourself for a long time, very long time. All right, Mr. White, thanks for your question. Next question by the Lone Draftsman. All right, let me see here. Hey Moses, been watching your videos for a while now. I'm learning Mandarin on and off for a few years, but it finally decides to crack down. I would say my current level is beginner, between beginner and intermediate. I can probably survive if I really had to with what I know. I also study traditional characters. My listening skills aren't as good though. I decided to take your approach with speaking with people on the streets instead of keeping my head in a book all the time. And that's helped so far, even though it's daunting to approach people. I'm from the USA, but I live in Macau now, and most people here speak Cantonese followed by Mandarin, usually by mainland tourists, which there are a bunch, so I can practice it with tourists a lot. I know this is long, but I do have a question. Even though I'm not that skilled at Chinese yet, I was thinking of picking up another language to start. Japanese. I'm going to go to Japan in a year, and I want to be able to speak some. I don't have much time per day to study though. I can only book study Mandarin up to 40 to 45 minutes a day. I can watch videos while I'm eating, which I guess sort of counts. Also talking on the street when I'm out. But I want to squeeze in Japanese. I'll probably only be able to get 15 to 20 minutes a day of book study. I rarely see Japanese people here though, so taking it to the streets will be difficult. Do you have any suggestions? I was thinking of trying a simple app I can use daily or your step 1 of your FLR method, but I don't know. Any advice for my situation will be appreciated. All right, Mr. Draftsman, thanks for your question. Awesome, you're in Macau right now. Awesome. Yeah, I think you can do it. Even if you're a beginner in Chinese, or you between that where you are now, I think you can start learning a different language. Now in your case, since you're doing Japanese and you don't plan on really going in on Japanese, you just want to learn some things to try to prepare yourself for the future. I would look into an application, an app. You can look into something such as Memrise. Memrise is a good application. You can even look into Pimsleur. Pimsleur would be good. That's it. You can do Pimsleur, just use the application, and Duolingo is good as well. They are supposed to be getting Japanese. I'm not sure when they're going to finish it, but you should look into that as well. And those are like simple applications that you can use. You're not really getting into the language heavily. It's just, you're just picking some things up. So I think for your situation, Pimsleur, and a couple applications will work out for you. And then once you get closer to going to Japan, then you can step it up a bit and get into some other resources. When you get to that point, come back and I'll give you some great advice on what you can use for that to really go in on it. All right, thanks a lot for your question. All right, next question. Explore with languages. Hey Laoshu, I got a problem because while I'm studying Tagalog, when I go to speak with friends and that, I always get told that I speak too formal, or like I don't speak how natives speak, and the resources I am learning I am learning from only teach Tagalog in a formal setting and can't seem to find resources that actually teach you how to speak every day or common Tagalog. You didn't ask me a question, but I'm assuming that you want my advice on this. Yeah, I would definitely. Well, there's nothing wrong. Don't let that discourage you, man. When you learn a language from the beginning that uses formal and informal speech, you're going to end up learning the formal first. It makes sense because you can't just use informal speech with everybody. Whereas with formal speech, you can use with anybody, even younger people. I mean, you'll be safe. I mean, they'll probably think it's too formal, but they'll be, they'll understand because you're a foreigner, you're learning the language. So I wouldn't really get discouraged for that. I would just continue learning that, and then once you feel like you're intermediate, then you can. I would suggest getting looking into some resources that will be less formal, and also I would look into finding a friend with whom you could practice with often. You can learn formal talk from them. Yeah, I had the same problem with Japanese, man. I was learning I learned polite style and honorific stuff, and I remember when I was practicing the honorific stuff, people were telling me, "Oh, man, you don't have to talk to me like that. It's too polite, too polite, too polite. You can say this," and I was confused. I was like, "Man, I don't know what to say. I don't know how to make it less formal." But I didn't let it discourage me. I just kept going and kept learning that, and because I knew, well, not the honorifics, but the polite form, below the honorific. Honorific is super polite. You really don't need to learn that unless you're going to be in a situation where you have to deal with someone in a high position. But yeah, I would just say keep going, man. And once you get better in the language, then you can start trying to learn less formal speech. But you need to learn that formal speech is very important. All right, wish you the best, man. Don't give up. Okay, next question. Explorer with languages. Thanks for your question. All right. Hi, Lashu. I'm in a bit of a dilemma, and I wanted to know your thoughts. I'm having trouble deciding which language to focus on. That is between French, Korean, and Vietnamese. I have been following you for a while, so I know that as only a beginner at language learning, I probably shouldn't be learning more than one language at a time. My French is very, very basic, and my family knows Creole, so that would be a plus. As for the Korean, I love the culture and the music out there. I love the culture and music, but there are not many Koreans around. And Vietnamese would be the most logical, as there are many natives around. Yet I find that I don't have much other motivation to learn it. All that being said, how would you go about this situation, or how do you think I should go about deciding what to do? Thanks, most appreciation. Oh, and another question out of sheer curiosity: have you ever considered learning the sign language for any other language you know? All right, great question, Elaney. I think you told me. Okay, you said your family knows Creole. Did you? Let me go back through which. Did you tell me where your location is? Okay, so. Yeah, I would. Yeah, whatever, like wherever you look, like your location, I would look at that and look at the demographics of the people. You just told me that there aren't many Koreans around, so that probably won't be a good idea. It probably won't be a good idea for you to learn that language, as you won't be able to practice it with many people. And see, like Vietnamese and what was the other language? French, Korean, and Vietnamese. See how many Vietnamese people are around. If you got quite a few of them around, you say it would be the most logical, as there are many natives around. I will go with that one. I will choose that one, because if you can practice that with someone, practice it with real life, you will find that your motivation you will be able to maintain your motivation learning that language. So I would go with that. That's what I would do. As far as sign language, oh yeah, most definitely. I'm definitely interested in learning sign language. If I learn in another language, I'll probably try the Chinese sign language. That would be interesting. That'd be very interesting. All right, Elaney, thanks for your question. I hope I answered it thoroughly. All right, next question by Shomao Jimo. That means what? Panda, lonely panda. Let me see. All right. how many languages on average do you study in a day? And then what does it consist of? For example, FLR teacher reading. Okay. So I have my list here. First of all, I'll show you my list of languages. This is my current list of languages here. And I know many of you, if you watch my stream, you have seen this list. Okay. I got about 13 languages going on right now. Now, I don't do all of these in one day. It's mixed up. I got them all spread out. Here's my schedule. So Monday, like for example, like today is Monday. Finnish, Macedonian, Polish, Turkish, Tagalog, and Fujonese. That's 6 languages. So 5 or 6 languages I would do out of all those languages. And I got them spread it out. I got the good time, and I got the good method. Now, what do I use for that? My main resource is FLR. I use FLR. I use if there's an available ICML, I use ICML for my writing practices. I may even use a penciler. And once I start when I get to the end of level 1 and I start getting into level 2, I'll start using Teach Yourself to look at some grammar stuff. Yeah. Pimser. Alright. Okay, thanks a lot for your question. I hope I answered thoroughly. Any experience with French in action? If so, compare with ICML. French in action, I've never heard of that. I've never heard of that course. I'll look into that. Nathan. Would you rather change gender? What? Okay. Let me skip that. I think somebody's trolling me. Alright, next question. Level T. Hi Moses, I want to learn Spanish. Specifically Mexican Spanish. Do you know any resources that teach Mexican Spanish? I have the Burles Mexican Spanish phrasebook and dictionary, but I want a course like Teach Yourself or Colloquial. I believe most courses teach Castilian Spanish. I did find a complete Latin American Spanish course, which I might end up getting if I can't find any other resource for Mexican Spanish. Is Latina American Spanish and Mexican Spanish the same? What is the difference between the two? I will say the Latin American Spanish, Mexican Spanish is Latin American Spanish. They're pretty, they may have, like, the accent might be a little different, but it's pretty Latin American Spanish. The Castilian Spanish is spoken over in Europe, over in Spain, and you can definitely tell a huge difference between both languages, especially pronunciation. So whatever Latin American course you come across, you be good with that. So you don't have to mainly focus on the Mexican Spanish. That's considered Latin American Spanish. So yeah, you'll be all right. All right, next question, Lorenzo. Hi Moses, I have a dilemma. I'm currently learning French. I have been learning it for a while, on and off. However, I have a great desire to learn another language without stopping my journey with French. So in effect, learning 2 languages at the same time. Eventually, I would like to speak several languages. The dilemma is I don't know which language to go for next. My job allows me to meet people from all over the world, and much like you, the reactions I receive from them when I say basic phrases makes me super happy and motivated. So much so I feel like learning the particular language I come across. The language I'm most interested in learning next are German, Portuguese, Brazilian, and Japanese. Which would you choose if you were in my shoes? Thanks for your question, Lorenzo. I would go with the one you say your job allows you to interact with a lot of people from all over. I would look at those languages and look at the people whom you come across, whom you interact with the most. If you have a lot of Germans, a lot of interaction with Germans, I will go with that language. Likewise, Portuguese and Japanese. I mean, if you have interaction with all 3, go for all 3. That's what I would do. That's what I would do. All right. Thanks a lot for your question. Let me see. Next question by Nelson Trinidad. When you study a language, do you learn names of animals, professions, sports, and stuff like that? Yes, I do. When appropriate, I do. I do learn that. At the beginning, probably not. Probably won't do that at the beginning. But yeah, I eventually I do learn stuff like that. Next question. I started learning Thai because I'll be visiting the country in October. I never start with the script because my main goal is to speak the language I study. I'll only deal with scripts after attaining my conversational goals. I have 2 questions. What is your current level in Thai? In your opinion, what's the most difficult feature about Thai? Is it the script or something else? Alright, that's great. I'm glad to hear that you're visiting Thailand in October. Thai is a great language to learn, very fun. I like the approach you say that you just focus on like speaking first before getting to the script. That's something like that I did. Like I remember when I first started learning, I just kind of focused on that until I got to, you know, pretty decent conversational level. Then I started the script. My Thai level is like, I would say I'm like high beginners, low intermediate, like a high beginners level. I can read, I can speak pretty conversational Thai, although I need to work on it a bit more, particularly my tones in the language. I didn't really do it properly when I was studying it. It's not really difficult. I wouldn't say it's really difficult. It's just like the grammar is similar to if you study Vietnamese, Chinese, those languages. The grammar is pretty similar. It's more similar to Vietnamese, but you know, they are very, very similar. So, wish you the best, man. I wish you the best. All right, next question. Tara, would you suggest when learning a language to first focus on learning the most frequent vocabulary, verbs, nouns, interrogatives, prepositions, and not to focus on grammar and pronunciation as much in order to become fluent? Yeah, when I first start on a language, I don't focus on grammar. Pronunciation, it comes through the type of method that I use, through listening, repeating after a native speaker. So the thing that I like to do at the beginning is to just play with the language. I say this very often, play with the language. When I say play with the language, taking sentences that are already pretty much created grammatically and just, you know, put them together with other sentences. Just kind of get used to it, practice that stuff with a native speaker, and you will notice that you start getting used to that stuff. And then once you get to grammar, it starts making sense. So I focus on playing with the language first. I pay close attention to pronunciation. I try to pay attention to the accent. And then, yeah. So once I get about 6 months into the language, then I'll start jumping into grammar, start dissecting it a bit. That's what I like to do. So, but that's just me, though. I know everybody's different. All right, thanks for your question. Now we're on the last one here. I have about 1 good year of Japanese under my belt. I've leveled up before, but I know I'm lacking. I know probably like 1,500 words, if not more. I have a pretty good grasp on how to conjugate. Would Japanese level 1 be the right course for me, or would going to level 2 be better? I also know how to structure sentences pretty well, but I definitely lack grammar. So I speak in statements, and although I can get my point across and communicate through those statements, I don't sound fluent. Also, thinking of maybe putting Japanese on the back burner and getting into Korean. From what I told you, do you think diving into Korean will be smart? I feel that I have my statement Japanese embedded in my brain pretty well. Would it be smart to try it, or should I try and close my learning on Japanese? Not really closing it, but leveling up to a good level. All right, good question, man. Good question. Well, if you don't know, Japanese and Korean are very similar languages grammatically. So you can either way you go, you won't lose. But I see that you started Japanese already. You asked me about the FLR level 1. It's really, you know what I would have to do? I would have to get on Skype with you, and I would have to test you. So if you're interested in doing that, if you're interested in getting that course and you want to know which one is best for you, we could set something up. Okay, contact me through my email, and we'll set something up on Skype, and I'll test you and see how good you are with that level 1 stuff. Then I can from there I can tell you if level 2 will be a good start for you. That's the best. That's the best thing for me to do. I don't want to tell you to go ahead and get FLR 1. You know there's stuff you don't know, and then you get it and you know everything. So if you're interested in doing that, just contact me through email. Let me know. All right. Okay, man. We're at 25 minutes. Yeah, we didn't have very many questions this time. So yeah, thanks a lot for the questions. So this is the rule here. If you have any questions, you need to post them in my Q&A video, my most recent Q&A video, like this one. Post them here, and I will answer them in next week's video. I don't really go when people ask me questions in other videos. I do answer. It depending on the question, I will answer back briefly. But if it's a long question and it takes time to answer, I won't even bother to answer it, because most of the time I don't have time to do that. But if you do have a long question, you need to post it here so that I can get to that in my Q&A video. All right. So that is it. If you guys have any questions, post them in this video, and I will answer them in next week's video. So thanks for viewing. You guys enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy the rest of your week. See you in next week's video. Take care. Peace.